I always love looking in your eyes. They always tell such beautiful stories. And I'm just so thankful that I get to be such an integral part of your story. You always make me feel so safe, so content. Honestly, I've never felt so at home than what I do with you. But I notice something right now. Your attention is divided. And if I know you, especially that look in your eyes, which you can come to assume that I would know quite a lot about. We're not the only ones here, are we? And that's as far as that delusion is gonna go. What do you see right now? Do you want to tell me? No, that's fine. But I'm guessing it's close to where I am because I see your eyes starting across. Okay, love. Would it help if I were to put my hand around about where they... Okay, yeah. Look. No. Meet my gaze. Meet my look right now. Okay. Now I see I have your attention. Don't look at anything else. Look at my hand. You see? My hand's not being stopped by anything. Nothing's touching me. I'm not touching anything. I know it doesn't always help to inject logic into something that is so illogical, but sometimes it just helps to have that visual reminder that just because you're seeing something doesn't mean that it's actually there. Unfortunately, that's not how it works for you. And that's okay. It's not okay, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. No, baby. Sweetheart. Meet my gaze again. Look into my eyes. Don't look at them. Don't pay them any mind. I know it's really hard to do. I know. Believe in me, I know. But I'm telling you, they hold no power over you. I know that they're scary. God, they're scary. I know. And it's such a soul-crushing... I don't even know what to classify it as. It's something that... And the way that I kind of see it is that... And this is in quite mild terms, so just keep that in mind, but... When it comes to things like anxiety, right? To a degree, you can try and, start to control your thoughts. You know what I mean? I know sometimes it's not something that you can particularly help, but sometimes there is something that you can do. You're able to, but if your anxiety is being caused by repeatedly thinking on something, as silly as it sounds, it can help to try to stop thinking about it, you know what I mean? And again, that's not always possible, but if you really think about it, it can be controllable, right? You can learn mindfulness, you can learn relaxation techniques, you can learn how to center yourself. But for something like this, it's harder. It's way harder. Because your brain is quite literally making shit up. There's no, like, the only way that you can, in the same way that you can kind of start to try and control some of, like, your depressive thoughts or your anxious thoughts, right? The only thing that you really have a say over when it comes to this is how you let it affect you. And even that can be completely out of your hands, right? Like, it is such... The more your world starts to fill up, oxymoronically, you start to feel more isolated. You start to drift away and ultimately become more isolated. You would think. A room full of visions of your own brain's creation. And if there is one real person in that room, you feel so disconnected from them that they might as well be a hallucination as well. Because it's isolating. It is isolating. Because, I mean, you can't take a picture of them, you know? You can't, and a lot of the time it's not something that you can really put, like, a description to. Sometimes you're seeing it, but you don't even know what you're seeing. It's not really something that works like that. It's a cruel disease. And then, come on, baby. Eyes back on me. Eyes back on me. I know, baby. Shh, 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 shh. It's okay. I know you can't help it. I know you can't help it, baby. None of this is your fault. None of it. You work your ass off to at least not be as affected by it as you could be. It's quite literally a hell of your own creation, like, if you want to get really dramatic about it. But in saying that, like, it's not really overly dramatic. This shit is as dramatic as it can get. You know what I mean? Eyes back here, baby. Eyes back here. Am I speaking any wrongs right now? Okay. I just want to be sure. I don't want to be spouting all this bullshit and then you're like, actually, you can shut up now, you're not saying anything about you. There's always a possibility of that, isn't there? Got you to smile at least. First time I've seen that in a while. This shit knocks the life out of you, doesn't it? I can tell how exhausted you are. Having to differentiate between what's real, what isn't real, and then knowing what to do with that information when you do have it. And even if you do know they're real, even if you do know they're not real, like, it's still distressing because of what you're specifically seeing / hearing. You're right. Yeah. And it's not even just hallucinations, it is a complete and utter paranoia and just... You feel like everyone's out to get you. You feel... You're worried of the slightest glance that you get. You believe that everyone is going to hurt you. You believe that there are people out to get you. You believe that there are things not human that are out to get you. The most... Sorry, I'm having to choose my words carefully. I don't want to, tread on any toes. But I am... There's so much that goes into this. It is a completely exhausting illness. You get no breaks. And I'm really so thankful that you have your psychiatrist appointment tomorrow, and we'll hopefully get on some medication, huh? Yeah. That would be helpful. And don't think you've given up if you have to have medication. It's just the way it is sometimes, especially with something like this. Believe me, if you get on the right medication with something like this, it can make such a world of difference. The world opens back up. The world might look a little emptier, but in actuality, you're able to reconnect back to it. And in time, it starts to fill back up with real people and real voices. Not the horseshit that you have to deal with now. You seem to be getting further and further away, love. Am I making anything worse? Okay. Is talking like this helping? You like this volume, okay? I can continue doing that, absolutely. You're getting to a point of being overwhelmed, aren't you? Okay, alright. It's okay. Look, we've been over this before. Let's try and center ourselves, okay? I'm gonna have you lie down, okay? You okay with that? Okay, good. Alright. You just take your time. Take your time. Lie down on your own time. Good girl. Alright. Try and close your eyes if you can. I know. Look, if you can't keep them closed, that's fine. I get it. Sometimes it's scary to have your eyes closed, I understand. If you need to open them back up, or if you can't close them at all, that's fine, but if you can, try for me. It just makes it a little easier if you're not seeing that stuff. So, listen to my voice, and listen to the rain. Don't listen to anything else. I know that I'm not the only person talking to you right now. With the way that you're barely hanging on to what I'm saying. I can see it. I'm trying to lead you away from it. I know there's only so much I can do, but whatever I can do, I'm going to do it. So, try and feel the bed holding you. Feel the way that it holds you up, gives you a nice, comfortable spot to bed down in. Listen to my voice and listen to the rain. What you need right now is to calm yourself. Come away from whatever it is that you're hearing right now. I know that it's not something that you can actually come away from. A large majority of it is in your head. I know it's not all there. You've mentioned before. So I know that it's not something that you can actually distance yourself from, but there is a certain amount of power that when you're so beaten down by this, it becomes way harder to like make, I don't know, to figure out your position in all of it. I know that becomes harder. And unfortunately, that allows it to have more power than it really ought to. And that's what I mean by coming away from it. I know that you can't stop these things, and you can't help hearing all the things that you do. But what we can try and do is to just learn how to center and make friends with it. Well, I know that they're not exactly the most friendliest entities, but what else can you do? Until we get you stabilized on some form of medication, this is what we have to do. So imagine that there's an invisible wall that's between you and what you're hearing right now. I know there isn't one, just imagine it. And imagine that wall keeps getting thicker. You're on one side, safe, and they're on the other side. Right now, while you're in a state like this, that's all you can do. You can't get rid of them. It's not like you can stop thinking about it. But you just need that moment where you can distance yourself, pick up the pieces, and then take down the wall. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be very true to yourself, and it wouldn't actually be that conducive if you were to remain behind this wall. Because you'd be lying. And I know you're no liar. And unfortunately with this ailment, you can't convince yourself that it's not real. You know what I mean? You can't convince yourself to just walk right out of it. It's not how it works. And to a point, you have to learn to become okay as well as you can with the idea that this world you inhabit has some nasty fucking devils who love you very much. So for right now, focus on putting that wall up so you can calm down and you can ground yourself. If you'd be willing to try. Imagine that wall is just getting thicker and thicker. The distance between you just keeps greatening. And doesn't that feel so good? I know. I bet that it does. It's getting thicker. And they're getting quieter. Suddenly your world is a lot quieter than what it used to be. I know that that might not be a reality, but convince yourself of it. In this moment, just convince yourself. It's getting quieter. It's getting softer. They're getting more distant. Further and further away. Something to note is that they're still there. You can still hear them. But that's okay. Right now you're safe from them. You're always safe, but you know what I mean. You're not forcing them to vacate your mind. You can't do that. Only medication can do that, and we don't have that yet. But just feel them slipping away. Further and further away. Until there's just a slight hum in the background. Now just sit there. Breathe in that reality. I can feel your muscles loosening. It's a nice reality, isn't it? It's one that I wish that I could extend to you in a more fundamental way. Truly I do. But the fact that that's not possible is okay. It's all right. You can't do anything about that, but that's okay. You're not immoral, and you're not this evil person that they make you out to be. I know. I absolutely know the kind of shit that people put you through for this. There is such little understanding of this condition. Everyone wants to make you out to be this fucking monster. And it couldn't be further from the truth. You were just plagued with monsters. You're not one. But hear me. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the voices and don't listen to the people. They don't know what they're talking about. They have such little understanding. I'm telling you that you are not this evil monster. You are not any of the things that they will label you with. You cannot help this. You are normal. Well, you know what I mean. You're another person. No more sadistic than anyone else. And I know that some of the things that you experience can be quite graphic, quite violent. But that's not you. That's not you. I'm literally hallucinating while I'm recording this, by the way. Just because you experience it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Thank you for understanding what I mean by that. I know that technically this is definitely something, wrong with you, but like, think of it this way. If someone with cancer, right, something that they cannot help. And someone would think that they were immoral because they were experiencing, well, let's just say pain, right? They're experiencing pain. That means that they must love inflicting it, right? Well, yeah, you see how stupid that is. Think of it the same way. Just because you were forced to experience what you do does not mean that you enjoy it, and that you would ever want anyone else to experience it. That's what sets you apart. You were just... You're just in a world that not many of us would understand. But I'm happy for them that they don't understand. Would it help to know that I do understand? How do you think I know what to say? It's a bitch of a thing. It's a fucking bitch. And you wouldn't think any less of me for experiencing this, would you? Of course you wouldn't. Because you understand. You understand that you wouldn't do that. So that doesn't mean that I would do that. There is a level of understanding where you know I'm not a bad person for experiencing this. And neither are you. It does help that I do know what you're talking about. Well, I mean, I aim to please. No, I don't apologize. It's alright. It's kind of nice for me too that there's a level of understanding on your part. So, I think that's half the battle sometimes. Just accepting that most people don't live in the same world that you do. But I do. And we can survive this world together. It's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be a better day tomorrow. Believe me, it is, because hopefully it is going to be the day that you start your medication. And then this will get just a little bit easier. They've stopped for now?